Hey everyone, Kyle once again. Um, Now for this review, since we're nearing the end of 2014, getting ready to be in 2015. For this time, I'm doing I didn't do this last year, but I just figure I would because we'll let you know by the title of the video. But I mean this year we lost a lot of great actors and directors. Well, few directors, but mostly actors, you know. Well, for me, because only the ones that I know of, and I know all of the popular ones, you know. But I know there's lots of other people who famous actors and directors, screenwriters, music composers, you know. One of them, I'm still eating gummy bears, if I'm wondering. Um, for me though, I made a list here of mostly a lot of for me first of the actors that I know, you know, more, you know, actors that I know of more, you know. So I'm good. So I'm here. This video, I'm doing a little memoriam, you know, honoring those great actors who died this year, because 2014, because this year 2014 it's been we lost a lot of, to me lost a lot of great actors, you know. It's been just like, well, a lot of popular actors who's been, you know, given great things, a lot of great classic films, you know. So here I have made a list right here of the actors, you know, what days and age and what films they um been in and what they died from, you know. If you've seen, and these ones I've made videos of these back in earlier on this year. So if you haven't seen those, check out those other you know, Rip, whoever, you know. I did separate videos of those, but I'm doing them all at once because it's the end of this year. So starting off, so this is my 2014 memoriam, you know. So starting off, you know, um, the first well-known actor that who died for me, you know, who died this year, you know, was Philip Seymour Hoffman, who died on February 2nd of this 2014 at the age of 46. You know, and Philip Seymour Hoffman, he was such a great and talented actor, you know. And yeah, I really, he's been in films which Almost Famous, Patch Adams, Cold Mountain. He was the villain in Mission Impossible 3. He was in Red Dragon, the prequel to Silence of the Lambs. And of course, he's now recently started in the Hunger Games films, you know, which like I said before, he completed his scenes for Mockingjay Part 1, and he did most of his scenes for Mockingjay Part 2, but there was one major scene that they didn't shoot though, so he's gonna be entirely CG in one scene of Mockingjay Part 2, you know. And he's won the Academy Award for playing Truman Capote in the film. I think it's called Capote or Capote. I think it's Capote, yeah. And he's also in Charlie Wilson's War, and was also nominated for Performance in Doubt and The Master. And I love this character in Jan Devon's Twister as the character Dusty. I really like this character in Twister, you know. He's been in a lot of other films. What was the film? One film. What was it? There was another film. I forgot. I forgot what it was. But he's been in so many films. You know, he was such a great actor. You know, it's too bad that he died from drugs. You know, I think they said that when they found they found him dead. I think he still had a needle still stuck in his arm. You know, this is such a shame. You know, but yeah. So Philip Seymour Hoffman says died at age 46 on February 2nd from drugs. Great actor. He will be missed. Next one, who died on February 12th is Sid Caesar. Sid Caesar, another funny actor, you know. who died at the age of 91. It said that very online. They said he died from a short illness. And if you know Caesar, I know he's been in a lot of films, but two films I mostly I know him from. Of course, he was in the classic comedy film. It's a mad world with a great star-studded cast. He was one of the people who were chasing after the money. And of course, you all mostly remember him for playing the coach in Grease, the musical film Grease with John Travolta. He was the coach in that film. Mostly, a lot of people remember him from that film as well. And I like him. I like him both those films. Especially I like It's a Mad World. It's a great comedy film from the '60s. With a great cast and Sid Caesar, plus along with the other great late actors like Jonathan Winters. And Buddy Hackett and Spencer Tracy. This is a lot of great actors. So yeah, Sid Caesar will be missed. This is too bad he's now passed away. And he will be missing that. Next one who died the next day on February 13th, Ralph Waite, who died at the age of 85 from age-related illness. So basically, I think he just died from old age. Which you mostly remember from being in The Bodyguard. He was also in Cliffhanger, Silver City, and mostly my favorite performance from him was he voiced Shadow in Homeward Bound 2, Lost in San Francisco. He replaced Don Michi, who voiced Shadow in the first film, since he passed since then. So Ralph Waite voiced Shadow in the sequel, Homeward Bound 2, Lost in San Francisco, and that's my favorite performance from him. So he's now passed away as well. I always keep on saying that, but I'm always repeating myself. But I don't care. This is these great actors deserve, for a memoriam, So Ralph Waite, rest in peace for him. Next one, another actor and director, Harold Ramis, who died on February 24th at the age of 69. Now, Harold Ramis, like I said, actor and director. Mostly acting wise, you mostly remember him from Ghostbusters 1 and 2, which I enjoy both of those films a lot. And which really, if they're still making, I think they're still trying to make a third Ghostbusters film. Basically, if Harold Ramis is now passed, I would say, me personally, this is just don't make the film anymore, because after all the complications in development hell for a third for Ghostbusters 3, just stop making it. I don't think that Bill Murray's not gonna do it, or Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson. Because I haven't know what update about Ghostbusters 3, so I'm not sure who's still gonna star in or not. Still a lot of complications, So, but since Harold Ramis is passing on, just don't do it fully. Don't do it, But directing, he's done. He directed the classic comedy film with Bill Murray, Groundhog Day. He directed I believe one of the National Lampoon's films, the first Vacation film. And he also directed Analyze This and the sequel Analyze That. It was also I think Caddyshack. I believe he also directed Caddyshack as well. I think he acted in it as well. I forget, But yeah, that classics. And of course, he also directed Stripes as well. But of course, one film that I really did not like was he directed a year. It was also his last film that he directed was Year One, with Jack Black and Michael Cera. Oh, Michael Cera. I just did not like that film. It was just, even though it was his last film though. But I think that was like his worst film he did. So, but Groundhog's Day, Caddyshack, National Lampoon's Vacation, starring Ghostbusters 1 and 2. I know he's acted in other films as well. I believe Stripes as well. But rest in peace, Harold Ramis. So will be missed. And what he died from was like at the age of 69. From it says like here complications of autoimmune inflammatory vasculitis. Yeah, I don't know much about that though, but it sounds awful though. But he will be missed, Harold Ramis. Next actor who died in April 6th, Mickey Rooney. Another actor who starred in It's a Mad World. I believe he's like the last actor for that film who's now passed, so I believe all the actors now in that film is now dead now. And first it was Sid Caesar, it was Jonathan Winters, and then Sid Caesar, and now Mickey Rooney. So, and I enjoy Mickey Rooney, I liked him with his partnership with Buddy Hack in that film. He voiced Todd in The Fox and the Hound as the adult Todd in Fox and the Hound, And he was also in Disney's Pete's Dragon, the original was it the original Muppets, or was it the new 2011 Muppet film? And of course, he was also in Black Stallion, and he was in the sequel of Babe, Pig in the City, and of course, his final one of his final films was in the trilogy of Night at the Museum. He had the first film, then he was also in a deleted scene with Dick Van Dyke and Bill Cobb's a deleted scene in the second film, and of course, his last film was the third film, Secret of the Tomb. So yeah, Mickey Rooney, died at the age of 93, and it said like he died in his sleep. Yeah, so yeah, because even if I saw Night at the Museum, seeing him on the scene where he was in a wheelchair and how the way he was talking, yeah, so you could tell that he was just not, not right though. But yeah, but it was nice that he was not there to shoot that one scene for the last the Night at the Museum trilogy. So nice to see him. Especially how I like that line you see in the first film when he talked to Ben Stiller. He's like, he looks like a weirdie, or let's dance, hot dog, Such a funny guy, So he'll be really missed, Mickey Rooney. And now next on April 29th, another great actor who I also really do enjoy, a lot, Bob Hoskins, who died April 29th at the age of 71. Who died of pneumonia, I believe. Yeah. Of course, Bob Hoskins. If you do his films, there's only one famous film that he was mostly famous from, and that's one of my favorite. Another favorite film that I also do enjoy is Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I love Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I did a review of that film. It's still on there, so you can check that out. I love Who Framed Roger Rabbit. As Eddie Valen. He was such a great actor. Of course, he played other films. He was in Steven Spielberg's film Hook, where he played Smee. He was on Unleashed with Jet Li, Mermaids, the Super Mario Brothers, Christmas Carol, Made in Manhattan, Doomsday, Mona Lisa. He was also voiced in Garfield, the sequel, Garfield: Tale of Two Kitties, and his last film in 2012 was Snow White and the Huntsman. And that was the last film he did before he retired, though. He was planning on doing a sequel to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which I'd like to have seen, but due to his disease, I believe it was Parkinson's disease, I believe, he retired after that. So Snow White and the Huntsman was his last film in 2012, and now in 2014, April 29th, he died of pneumonia at the age of 71. So since Bob Hoskins is now passed, I don't want to see. I personally don't want to see if there was a sequel to Who Framed Roger Rabbit made. Maybe I'll see it, but it will look it's like if there was one made, it will be not the same without Bob Hoskins. The character of Eddie Valiant. It wouldn't be the same. Maybe I'll see it, maybe I won't. If it does get made. So yeah, Bob Hoskins, he'll be really missed. So I love Bob Hoskins. So yeah. So may he rest in peace. And of course, one of the biggest celebrities who died this year on August 11th, Robin Williams. Yeah, one of the most funniest and talented actors of, It was a real shock that all of a sudden he just passed away. He was really extremely funny, really talented actor. Starred in a lot of classic films, course, Mrs. Doubtfire, Jumanji. I just did a review for Jumanji. Yeah, that just not not too long ago. That review is still up. I just did that review not too long ago. So yeah, Jumanji. So Mrs. Doubtfire, Good Morning Vietnam. Good Morning Vietnam. Also starring in Steven Spielberg's Hook, The Birdcage, voicing Genie Aladdin, Patch Adams, Flubber. I liked his performance in Christopher Nolan's Insomnia. Different take from being a funny man, being this thriller as playing a killer. Good Will Hunting, 9 Months, voicing Happy Feet in the sequel. Jack, Dead Poet Society, Man of the Year. Of course, famously also playing his character, the alien character Mork. For appearing in the first episode and for appearing in the episode of Happy Days, and of course the show Mork and Mindy. Yeah, I believe it was Mork and Mindy. Yeah. So, yeah, the great funny character of character Mork. And it's just so bad that he just what he did. At the age of 63, he committed suicide. They hanged himself. Because he was depressed. That was a real big, such a shame. Great funny guy. Actually, yeah, everybody was shocked that Robin Williams died. We were shocked big shock to everybody. And it's just he'll be really greatly missed. Robin Williams, one of the most funniest actors that ever walked. He'll be greatly missed. Of course, also I forgot to mention Ninth Museum. Yeah, I think I just said Ninth Museum as Theodore Roosevelt. Of course, that's also gonna be one of the last films that he did, along with Mickey Rooney. In the same film. The Sir Lancelot at your service. Theodore Roosevelt, President of the United States of America. I have no idea what that means. Yeah. So yeah, Robin Williams, he'll be really greatly missed. And also in August 24th, another actor and director had passed. At the time, Richard Attenborough. Richard Attenborough died at the age of 90. I'm still not exactly sure what he died from. I just assume old age, because he was at the age of 90 when he passed, Richard Attenborough was another good actor and director, starring in films like especially also famously starring in Jurassic Park, my all-time favorite film, as John Hammond, and briefly appearing in the sequel, The Lost World. He was in The Great Escape. He played Santa Claus in 1994 of Miracle on 34th Street. Of course, he was also a director. He directed a 70s film, a horror film called Magic, I believe, with Anthony Hopkins. It was this horror film with the ventriloquist dummy, I believe, But of course, he also directed which film he won 8 Oscars for, Gandhi, with Ben Kingsley played as Gandhi. The film won for Best Picture, I believe, Best Director, and it won 8 Oscars, so including Best Picture. And Richard Attenborough directed that film, He had some good talent as a director, and as an actor, the Jurassic Park, The Lost World, Miracle on 34th Street, The Great Escape with Steve McQueen. That's another good talented actor and director that will be missed, Also forgot to mention, it was also a couple other films. I think we believe it was A Bridge Too Far, and also the original Fly the Phoenix with James Stewart, Yeah, the original Fly the Phoenix, not the 2004 or 5 film with Dennis Quaid. Yeah. So yeah, he'll be missed as well. So Richard Attenborough, rest in peace. The next September 4th, Joan Rivers. Joan Rivers died September 4th, at the age of 81. Who died of a cardiac arrest, Of course, appeared mostly. Okay, now, like I probably said before, I was not too familiar with Joan Rivers though, but I know that she was a popular actress, but the film that I will say that I liked her that I liked her in was she was in Mel Brooks' film Spaceballs, as the spoof of C-3PO with Dot. I liked her in her performance in Spaceballs. She was good in that film. I wasn't all too familiar with Joan Rivers personally, but I know, she was a popular actress though, and she was too bad at the age of 81 she died of a cardiac arrest. So, yeah. But I know a lot of people know who Joan Rivers and probably liked her a lot. But personally, I wasn't all too familiar with her though. But I do understand why she was a good actress. So yeah, so that she will be missed as well. Next, in September 10th, Richard Kiel. You mostly remember him playing the one of the most famous James Bond villains, Jaws. Especially was it he played Jaws in two of the James Bond films. Forget what was the first one he appeared in. What was it? I'm drawing a complete blank right now. I forget what it was though, but then he appeared in the next James Bond film. He returns to Jaws in Moonraker. It's because like in the film that Jaws turns from a villain to a good guy because he falls in love with this girl. But he also appeared in Happy Girl the Happy Gilmore with Adam Sandler. He played as Mr. Larson. Yeah, I thought he was really funny in that though. And he had a voice in Disney's Tangled, and he also appeared in the film the film with the longest yard, Inspector Gadget. But like I said, I think I said before that I met Richard Kiel though. I didn't get a picture of him sadly though, but I got his autograph though. I got his autograph when we put of Mr. Larson, Happy Gilmore, when he's bending the Shooter's golf club. And I said it was nice to meet Richard Kiel. But it's too bad I didn't get a picture with him though. Otherwise I would have posted it on my video. But he will be missed. And what he died from was from two things, it says a coronary artery disease and a acute multicaudal infraction. Forgot how though those last words were. But I didn't heard that thing though. But because I think they said he was in a wheelchair, or because he had a hard time standing. Because when I met him, I saw how he looked, and he didn't talk all very good though. But yeah, yeah, it was a shame. But he died at the age of 74. Yeah, it's just because he was how he didn't walk much because he's a very tall guy. But Richard Kiel, he will be missed. I've always enjoyed his performances as Jaws, of course, and Mr. Larson, Happy Gilmore, mostly. But I'm glad I met him and got his autograph from him. And next, another actress died October 14th. Elizabeth Pena. And Elizabeth Pena, who died on October 14th at the age of 55. And that was an actress I didn't expect to pass too early. Died really young. At the age of 55. Really, that's just wow. I was like, wow. I was like, at first when I went for her first passing, I was like, who was that? And when I looked at the film she did, I was like, oh, really, her? Really, she passed away? Well, at the age of 55, I was like, wow. And of course, if you know who she is, that she appeared in other films. She appeared in La Bamba with Lou Diamond Phillips. Then she appeared in another favorite horror film of mine, Jacob's Ladder with Tim Robbins. She appeared in the buddy cop film Rush Hour. Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. She was also she played the cop in the film with best defusing the bombs. Then she appeared in the sequel, Free Willy 2: The Adventure Home. She was one of the doctors to help Free Willy's Willie's believe was a sister that was sick. She was one of the animal biologists. Doctors. Help treat them. And of course, she also remember that she voiced in the 2004 Disney Pixar film The Incredibles. And I also did my review of The Incredibles. You can check that out. She voiced as Syndrome's agent Mirage. The gray-haired woman. Who helped the Mr. Incredible's family out the end. Yeah. So I did my review for that film, so you can check that out. More about the character. And so what she died from, because what she died from was it was like a disease in her liver, because it was said that due to alcohol. So apparently she drank a lot though, and it did a lot of damage to her liver, and that killed her. Yeah, that's just what alcohol can do to your liver. That's a shame. So yeah. That's first like, oh really? That's her that passed away at the age of 55. Wow. Yeah, but so appearing in memorable films like those, she will be missed. Love Jacob's Ladder. I loved The Incredibles. Enjoyed Rush Hour. Free Willy 2: The Adventure Home. That was a good sequel as well. And La Bamba with Lou Diamond Phillips. Appeared in some good films, and she will be missed. And the last person who, as of right now, who knows who might pass during the last few days of this year, but died recently on December 22nd. And this is a director, not an actor, but just a director, And this director is Joseph Sargent. When on that day, I didn't do a video of it, so I just wanted to include him with everybody else, in this video. So, yeah, director Joseph Sargent died on December 22nd, at the age of 89. Died of complications of a heart disease, And what films did he's directed? He directed a film called a war film called MacArthur with Gregory Peck. He directed a horror film called Nightmares, which I haven't seen though. But there's mostly maybe two films that you mostly remember him directing. He directed the original Taken of Pelham 1, 2, 3 with Walter Matthau and Robert Shaw. So he directed the original film, and of course mostly you remember he's mostly memorable for he directed this film as well. He directed considering he directed one of the worst movies ever made. He directed Jaws: The Revenge. Yeah. Yeah, so director Joseph Sargent directed the last Jaws film, considered one of the worst films ever made, Jaws: The Revenge. And which is funny, he directed the original Taken of Pelham 1 through 3, which holds 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and he directed Jaws: The Revenge, which has absolute 0 rating on Rotten Tomatoes, I just find that funny, two films he directs, one gets 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and the other one gets a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes, I just find that funny, but yeah, director Joseph Sargent, mostly remember him directing for those two memorable films as well, a good one and a real bad one. Yeah. So yeah, so Joseph Sargent, yeah. You will be remembered directing one of the worst movies ever made, Jaws: The Revenge. Which to me personally, yeah, I could definitely see why it's one of the worst movies ever made, but I don't think it's worse than any films that I've seen, Either new, of today, or old films, I can definitely see why. I did a review with all the Jaws films franchise. I did a review of it, a rant on it though, but I did explain there was little teeny bits of things that I liked in the film though. I do remember saying that though, but it was still a rant. The film is still a piece of crap film though. But yeah, Okay, so Joseph Sargent will definitely be remembered for directing one of the worst films ever made, Jaws: The Revenge. Yeah. So yeah, he died, but at the age of 89, he died of complications of a heart disease at December 22nd. So yeah, so this director will be missed, you know. So that's pretty much that's my memoriam, my memoriam of 2014. So all these great actors and directors, you know. Yeah, so all these actors, I did separate videos for also all these actors here. I did separate videos for those during this year, so you can just check out my channel and click on one of those any of those RIP videos, you know, of whoever, you know. So yeah, everyone I've mentioned, all these great actors, and they will be really missed, you know, especially the most memorable one of this year is Robin Williams, you know. But all the other great directors like Philip Seymour Hoffman, Bob Hoskins, everyone else, you know, they will all be really missed. So I just want to. I'm sure, like, well, if there is anyone else who dies, you know, between here until December 31st, you know, I will do a video of that and I'll add it to the memoriam of this year, you know. So we'll have to wait and see though. But so this is my 2014 memoriam dedicating to all and honoring all these talented actors who's now passed this year, you know, because this year 2014 has been absolutely crazy of seeing all these actors and actresses who passed this year. It's been absolutely crazy. It's been one popular actor after another, you know. Especially some you did unexpectedly didn't know passed, you know. So yeah. So that's my 2014 memoriam. I also say rest in peace to everyone that I've said, you know, and hopefully, I was as of for 2015, I don't know who, I don't know. You never know who might unexpectedly or pass in 2015. You know, who knows, you know. If it is, it's gonna be a real shame, you know, what he or her who's gonna be passing, you know. So I dread to see what great actors is gonna pass in 2015. Well, just have to wait and see about that, you know. So that's my 2014 memoriam. Rest in peace to everyone once again. Like I said, you know. Thanks for watching. Take care and stay tuned on the next movie review. Later.